Hello everyone, and welcome back to some more Shining Song Starnova with me, Phantom Zwei. When we last left off, we had started the center battle. We're on a Hotspring's vacation with the idols of Starnova, and they are vying for the attention of the producer in order to try and gain favor to become the center of the unit. And Natan has struck. Looks like Nimue is planning to make the next move. Let's see what happens. We sat at our tables as... I can't read already. First sentence, and I can't read. We sat at our tables as dinner was served. As expected... Oh, it's voice acting.
Shit. これ、カロリーいくらぐらいかしら? どうしたんだ? もうちょっと出てもいいところもあるけど。それは結構。その目はなんだ? お前みたいなタレバーにはなりたくねとでも思ってんでしょ。別に。なんとでも思え。だから最近のガキは。
Mariah poured herself a cup of sake, grumbling to herself.
まあ、練習がまた始まったら全部燃えますから、心配することありませんよ。
おい、ササミ。それはいくら食べても太らない奴らがよく言う言葉なんだけど。
私？
そうでしょ？高校生の時に比べてどのくらい増えた？
ほぼ同じだと思いますが。
Julie took Mariah's bottle of sake and poured herself a glass.
地雷には気をつけて。との。そんな。
Nimue slunk over to the men's table while the other girls were distracted.
あら、プロデューサーさんのグラス、もう空っぽですよ。
So that's her game. Eh? Nimue Nimue?
ほら、どうぞ。
She poured sake into my cup. Oh, thank you.
いえいえ。
Nimue poured herself a cup as well.
では、乾杯。
Sasami. The sake warmed me up as it rolled down my throat. Oh my! Nimue knelt down beside me and discreetly loosened her obi. Her hair grazed my arm as the fresh fragrance of feminine perfume washed over me. Ugh! She was so close. Nimue... I looked over, only to be greeted by an enormous pair of lukewarm Nikuman. What's a Nikuman? As expected, Nimue's bust was impressive as ever. Nimue suddenly stretched her arms up, her assets nearly spilling from her yukata.
いや、ねむねむ。お腹がいっぱいになると眠くなるの。
She then bounced herself against the cushion, her ripe fruits jiggling up and down. Oi, what did you just do?
足がしびれるから、ちょっと運動しただけ。
Ah. Nimue took another sip of sake.
プロデューサーさん、ねむねむはね、一番得意な隠し芸があるの。おっぱいカップ。
Warm sake served over booby. Eh?
誰かマス持ってるの？
ここにありますよ。
Oh my. The men's table broke into grins as Nimue loosened her yukata and placed the small wooden box on top of her cleavage. We couldn't help but hold our breath as she put a shot glass inside the box and grabbed a bottle of sake. Nimue poured the sake bottle into the shot glass and let it overflow into the masu, all while balancing everything on top of her breasts. We broke into awed applause when Nimue finished filling the masu to the brim over her huge rack. Unknown to us, the other girls looked at us with cynical eyes.
なんてカップなんだよ。
これだからエンタメ業界はクソなんだよ。
More empty laughter echoed from Mariah.
出世したきゃ体を上司に差し出すしかねえんだ。やるじゃん、ネム。できる子じゃないか。
嘘。プロデューサーさんはさせられているだけに違いありません。
あのアマ。これからだよ、これから。
Oh man, getting cutthroat now.
そういう隠し芸はもう時代遅れよ。プロの技を見せてあげようじゃない。
With that, Julie stomped off.
忍耐はどうとかの話はどないなっとんねん。プロデューサーさん、ドリンクの準備ができました。
Eh? But is this really alright? President Okada slapped my back.
飲んでくれ。全部君のおかげなんだから。
まあ、私は美しいものを目でめでるだけで十分ですから。
Then, thank you very much. I bowed to Okada and Nimue and raised the heaping masu to my lips. Not willing to risk shaming myself, I drank all the sake in the shot glass, plus the masu, to the table's applause. Ah! I cringed as the bittersweet taste of the sake hit my taste buds. The room began to spin a little as the prior sake hit me. Just then, Julie wrapped herself around my arm. Oh boy.
古いにも程があるよ、ネムネム。私のおばあ様が昭和時代に同じものを使っていたわ。今はもう21世紀よ。古き日本の芸なんてふさわしくないわ。アイドルならクールジャパンの最先端を走りなさい。
Cool Japan. I admit that's true. The business sure has changed. The overseas market's getting pretty nice, eh?
黒船は機器だけでなく航機も運んできた。私たちもひょっとしたら同じ状況にいるのかもしれませんね。
今時のアイドルは積極的よ。プロデューサーさん。
Julie filled 2 cups of beer and grabbed a pair of shot glasses.
歌も生足も派手に見せちゃう。可愛らしいだけじゃない。大人の魅力を。
You mean like K-pop?
だから誰が最初に思いついたかなんてどうだっていいじゃない。売れればそれでいいのでしょ。
Julie filled the shot glasses with sake, then popped them into the beers, causing a burst of fizz.
ほら、これ持って。21世紀アイドルの飲み方を見せてあげる。
By now, I was drunk enough to fall for Julie's goading without much thought. We intertwined our arms, with Julie holding her cup to my mouth while I held my cup to her mouth.
乾杯!
We knocked back the bomb, finishing the whole cup in one hit.
たまんねー!
Before I could regain my senses, I felt a sudden weight drop on my lap. Oh my god! Even Aki, alright. I looked down to see a certain red-haired loli plop down on my lap with a cup of fizzing bright... Let me try that again. I looked down to see a certain red-haired loli plop down on my lap with a cup of fizzing light brown liquid in her hands. Boy, what are you doing?
ダメなのお兄ちゃん。
Ah, this again? Aren't you a bit young to be drinking?
それは一体何のことかしら。これはね、ただのリンゴサイダーだよ、お兄ちゃん。
Aki gulped down the cup of apple cider. Ah yes, clearly this fizzing yellowish fluid was just apple cider, and there was absolutely nothing troublesome happening in this scene. Depicting a bunch of entertainment execs obviously exploiting, entertaining their young idols? No problem. But an 18-year-old enjoying a nice brewski? The censors would tear me a new one if we ever tried to pass that one off as entertainment. A bit of cynicism from the writers, but I absolutely agree. My thoughts began to lose coherence as more and more alcohol entered my bloodstream.
どうしたの？アキちゃんはここ座っちゃダメ？
Aki looked at me, her eyes soft as butter, as if she could burst into tears at any moment. She was good, I'll give her that. She was really good. I guess it's alright.
やったー！ありがとう、兄ちゃん。
プロデューサーさん、なんでこんなお子様にやられっぱなしなんだよ。
ダブルおっぱい酒。
Oh my god. The rest of the girls watched the unfolding spectacle from the other table. Not willing to be topped by the other girls, Nimue placed a pair of masu containing shot glasses on each of her breasts, her yukata barely hanging on by the teats. Mika nearly collapsed to the floor, overwhelmed by the mature atmosphere.
これが大人の社会の仕組みなんだ。ああ、 ちの自分が悔しい。
Mariah slammed her shot glass to the table.
くそ、生きるか死ぬかの時じゃねえか。
With that, Mariah left the table as well, and sat down beside President Okada, with nothing but smiles on her face. She laughed as she grabbed a sake bottle and poured the old man a cup of sake.
ピー君をスキップして社長直狙いとはさすがマリア。
Going right over his head.
そんなそれはなったんもやってみよっかな。じゃあ私も。
Mika mustered her courage and tentatively crawled towards the others.
ちょっと。
Two more masu filled to the brim with sake hovered on top of Nimu's memories.
プロデューサーさん、また2杯できましたよ。溺れてもいいですからね。
Ah, no. Okada-sensei, Kodama, why don't you...
バカ言え、プロデューサーだろ。全部飲みなさい。
社長命令ですわよ。
プロデューサーさん、いつでも来てください。なんで
Then I guess it can't be helped. I grabbed the first masu and poured it down my mouth. The table erupted in chants as the sake poured out of the shot glass, into the masu, and waterfalled into my mouth. I shook my head after finishing the first masu and grabbed the second from Nimu's rack. Then I won't hold back! By now the sake went down my throat like water. I finished the second container of sake to an eruption of cheers. Ka!
ビールで口直しね。
Before I could even react, Julie was dumping a cup of beer down my mouth. I swallowed my medicine and bowed. Thank you very much. Julie laughed hysterically, quite drunk herself, and dug my arms into her chest. By now, I was drunk to the point of feeling like I was spinning inside a laundry machine. Yeah, drinking that much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the world would be something else at that point. In front of me, I saw 3 pairs of twin tails as a trio of Akis sipped on apple ciders. Suddenly, I realized Natan was wrapped around my neck. I couldn't really gauge how close or far she was from my face.
ピー君もう酔っ払いやん。
まあ、成功した男はみんなこんなことをするのかしら。美しい女性に囲まれお酒を楽しむ。
Oi, Kodama, you really fine with this? Why don't you join in?
興味ない。
怖がらないで、子猫ちゃんたち。私は美の追求にしか興味ないわ。まあ、でも、プロデューサーさんには、ちょっとだけあるかもね。
Oh dear. Oi, you. What did you just say?
やっぱそっち系だったんだ。
そうじゃないかと思ってたが。
Yeah.
何のことかなったん全然わからへん。
What did you just say? You're kidding, right? That was a lie, right? This ain't a joke.
ああ、案外鈍いんだね、この人。
While we were distracted, Mika cautiously poured herself a cup of sake on the other side of the table.
これは大人の社会の魔法薬。大人の会話に参加する勇気と空気や美術にプラス補正。要するにカリスマポーション。気をつけてね、ミカちゃん。未経験の人には結構強いから。恐れることなどない。カリスマポーションくらい私のレベルではなんてことない。
With that, Mika grabbed the cup and sank the sake down. A sudden crash interrupted my drunken shock at Kodama's unexpected exit from the closet. We all turned our heads towards the source of the crash and saw Mika sprawled out on the floor. Eh? What's wrong with her? Suddenly, Mika shot up and ran towards me.
プロデューサーさん、私、酔ってる。何やってんだこいつ。バカ、それ違うから。
The girls tore themselves away from me moments before Mika collided headfirst into my chest. Gawk! The world spun as Mika clambered up my body, giving me a faceful of her chest.
プロデューサーさん、私も頑張って。私だってセンターになれるから。
Unfortunately, Mika had nowhere near the same amount of padding as Nimue or even Mariah, so having her bosom rubbed into my face was more akin to smearing my face against the wall. Oh dear. Mika, calm down. Oi, just how much did you drink?
一口だけ。ああ、これだからお酒処女は最悪だわ。少女卒業した途端、自分は酔ってるなんて勘違いして暴れ出すし。
まあプロデューサーさんも手一杯ですわ。
Oi, this is no laughing matter.
プロデューサーさん、こういうの好きでしょ？好きでしょ？これからはミカだけを見てね。
Unwilling to risk letting Mika get the upper hand, Aki piled on top of Mika.
お兄ちゃん、これからアキちゃんだけを見てね。あ、ずるい。顔だから手を離しなさい。
おい、何やってんだ。
巨乳スマッシュ。プロデューサーさん。
The rest of the girls attacked me all at once.
もうこんなに強い絆ができたんだな、プロデューサー君。
Is that how you see this?
あら、私も輪に入った方がいいかしら。
Just shut up and help me! In the end, I barely made it out of the dining hall with my life intact. These girls, they were willing to do anything to be picked the center. However, as I was drunk out of my mind, I merely managed to crawl to the men's quarters and pass out. It would only be later when I realized the scary weight of the decision I would have to make. Alright. The next day, I went hiking in the mountains with the girls. Why do I have a headache just from drinking that little last night? Looks like Mariah's body's just not what it used to be, eh?
平気平気。
Take a deep breath and smell the fresh air.
いや
You really gotta leave the city and come to the countryside every now and then.
急げ急げ。
Come on, Mariah, breathe! Cleanse the poison. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
あ
What a sad sight.
あ、まったく。
I can't believe someone who needs to do breathing exercises like a granny actually wants to become an idol.
ふざけんなよ。
Who are you calling a granny?
あお。
Don't be looking down on the country air, you city slicker.
困ったな。
I reckon if you hadn't lived your whole life breathing them pollutants in the city, you wouldn't have grown to be the wee bidly gal you are now.
ちょっと、なにこれ。
I have no idea what you're saying. Talk normal Japanese, you bumpkin. Why, I say, we best be leaving this lass out here in the wilderness. Get her to grow some country chops about her.
悔しい。
You're just talking like that to get on my nerves, aren't you? You were totally talking fine just a moment ago.
おい。
Besides, what are we doing out here? Is this some kind of training? I turned around and faced Aki. Of course not. Natan's got a point. We could all use the fresh air. It's tough being cooped up in the city. Let's use this opportunity to refresh ourselves by basking in nature. However, I got the feeling that this refreshing was not taking place. In fact, with 7 girls in tow, this little excursion felt as noisy as any of our usual practices.
お兄ちゃん。
I see, Oni-chan. Aki-chan will try her best.
もうどうでもいい
Who's gonna believe that Fa-Imoto play of yours anymore? Meanwhile, the quieter girls followed us from the rear.
くそ。
What greenery is this? The forces of nature have surrounded us. Hark! We may soon be overrun by the Bug Nation. I'm not so good with insects.
あら。
Fear not. Surely they have not hatched from their eggs this early in the season.
いえ。
Hatched eggs?
今宵はまだまだ長い。
Prepare our vanguard. Knight Sasa-chan. At this rate, we may be dining with the Bug Lord tonight. It may wrap its tiny mandibles around our bodies and do unspeakable things to us before dropping us into its mouth.
おお。
But mayhaps I would start to burst through its belly be able to burst through its belly for maximum damage.
出陣の準備が整ったぞ。
While some of our compatriots may be lost, and some may wish they lost their lives rather than live with what they just experienced, this one shall carry on. For indeed, the loot the Bug Lord drops would surely be worth the momentary shaming of this body. Yeah,
何よ
What's Chuni-chan going on about? I have no idea what she's talking about.
やめてください
Mika-chan, please don't speak of such horrendous things.
嫌な感じがし
I get the shivers just thinking about becoming some overgrown bug's lunch.
あのな
Not that Sasa-chan's got much to worry about. There's hardly any meat on her bones, after all. Unlike a certain other aging idol with a drinking problem, eh? Hehehe.
黙れ
Shut it, you shit loli. Aki noticed a beetle perched on a tree. Her entire face curled into an evil grin as she saw the golden opportunity to prank Mika. She grabbed it between her fingers and sneaked up on Mika. Chuni-chan! I got your bug lord right here. Aki opened the collar of Mika's shirt and dropped the beetle into it. Oh no. Eh? Eh? Mika shot off in the distance, her arms flailing. Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up! Aki clutched her stomach as she laughed her twin tails off. Who's gonna defeat the Bug Lord now? Mika spun around in circles, her eyes legitimately turning into two blue swirl symbols. Yeah? What the? Mika tore off her top, exposing herself to the world. Eh? Mika, no! The beetle sprouted wings and flew off of Mika's back, and landed exactly between Aki's eyes.
は
Yeah! The red imp fell backwards onto her butt, having received divine punishment for her acts.
おのれ
You! Mika threw herself at Aki and wrestled on the ground with her bra still exposed.
こちら
Shit, Loli! Die! Die! Cat! Oni-chan, help! This crazy topless Chuni's trying to rape!
くだらね
Who the hell would want to rape you, you shit loli? Whatever, just put your shirt back on, Mika. Eh? Mika finally realized she was bearing it all in front of me. Eh? Yeah? Somehow, I got the feeling I was going to be more exhausted at the end of this vacation than before I left. The girls entered the bubbling pool of mineral water after a long day of sightseeing.
は
In the end, nobody
あ
managed to make
結
any
局誰も
progress at all.
進展なしか
Oh, it's voice acting.
そうとも限らないよプロデューサーさんのネムネムを見るあのいやらしい目つき身の危険を感じない違うわよ今のはあんたの牛乳を見ただけよ特別な意味とかないからねあきちゃんはちっちゃくて残念ねなんかもうこのふわふわを入れたくなっちゃう
Nimue slapped her boobs together for emphasis.
げそのふわふわ甘いなあのバカデューサーは私のことを考えて夜も眠れないに決まってるもう私にメロメロよガオー何を言ってもな最終的にはこのナッタンが B 君のしたいことに応えてあげるんやから嘘よこの私こそが彼の真の理解者
バカどもが残念だがお前たちみたいな素人がセンターになるなんて100年早い勝敗はな戦う前から決まっている孫子とかいうやつが言ってたはず
あらマリア珍しく物知りね
でしょだからこの私がリーダーだよ
All six girls glared at each other.
ネムネムがセンターになる
But where's Sasami?
ヤンデレのおっぱい化け物私こそがプロデューサーさんの心のまあジュリーちゃんはスーパービッチだからね黙れクソロリセンターは私のうるさいわねチュニちゃんあんたなんてどうでもいいよ
Actually, she is winning the poll, so I don't know about that. Oh god, Nimue's eyes, I just noticed.
な
なんか前のことがフラッシュバックし始めた。団員同士の喧嘩がきっかけで全てがダメになってしまったんだよね。やめて。次に来るのは互いの靴に画鋲を入れたり、発狂したファンのふりして殺害の脅迫状とか送ったりするんでしょ。なのテレビで見せられるわけがない。
うわー、マリアにとってアイドル業界は真っ黒やな。
It really is.
そりゃ当たり前だろ。アニメのあれとでも思ったのか。
Natan perched herself on top of a rock.
みんなには悪いけど、P 君はもううちの裸を見たんやから。嘘つくな。ほんまやもん。
Natan nodded confidently, as if everything was already decided.
いやー、P 君たらうちのあそこ見たら真っ赤になっとんねん。うち以外に P 君とそんなことまでしちゃった中の子ってここにおる？
She pointed to all the girls one by one.
ちゃう。
But was cut off mid-speech when she took a torrent of water right to her kisser.
ガク。
Aki angrily held a wooden bucket to her chest.
嘘つけ。あんたみたいな田舎者がセンターになれるもんか。お前なー。センターは私のよ。
Oh god! What is this? Who's that in the background? Actually, is that Julie? Yeah, that's Julie. Okay. With that assault on Natan, the floodgates of the girls' rivalry burst open. The pool erupted into chaos as the girls flung themselves at each other, bare naked. Natan gripped Aki by her twin tails and shoved her into the water.
関西のもんをなめんなよ、クソロリ。あら、みんな喧嘩してるの？じゃあ、ネムネムも本気を出さないと。
Blackness erupted from Nimue as she grabbed Julie and raised her over her head.
What? プロデューサーさんはネムネムだけのものなのよ。
Nimue tossed Julie clear across the pool into Mariah like a pro wrestler.
汚い手を引っ込めなさい。
お前、狂ったかヤンデレ化け物。
Mariah marched to Nimue like two booby titans squaring off against each other before a rumble.
深い父持ってるからってセンターになれると思うなよ。ほら、これを見ろ。こっちだって持ってんだよ、クソビッチ。自分だけが特別とかばっかじゃねえの。
Mariah gripped her boobs and slammed them into Nimue's chest. They stared each other down, their noses and teats pressed up against each other. Alright.
お姉様、残念ながらあなたの垂れた皮袋はこっちのピチピチマニューにはかなわないよ。
なんだって？
Mariah threw herself at Nimue. The two sank underwater and grappled each other at the floor of the pool. Meanwhile, Aki kicked Natan directly between the legs and climbed up on top of her. So much for unity.
このすべすべザルが噛んでやる。この穴噛みちぎってやる。
Aki dug her fingers into Natan's mouth and split open her mouth. Mika dived into Aki from behind, causing Aki and Natan to fall face first into the pool.
天中なりしゅうにちゃん。
Aki and Natan formed a temporary truce as the two of them marched towards Mika. The two of them grabbed Mika's arms, hoisted her up by her belly, and swung her back and forth in preparation for flinging her across the pool.
せーの、せーの。
Suddenly, the striking of two wooden buckets interrupted the mass naked pandemonium. What convenient steam! The girls momentarily froze and looked at Sasami, who was now standing on top of the rock.
みんな何をしているの？一緒にやるって言ったじゃないですか。私たちはスターノバって誰か一人だけじゃない。私たちみんなが。ミカちゃん、初めてのライブでネムネムにぶつかって助けてもらったんじゃないんですか？ あ、ああ。アキちゃんも代々木まで走った時、みんながアキちゃんのために集まっていたこと覚えてますか？ネムネムだって両親にアイドルを辞めさせられそうになった時、私たちがどれほど心配していたかわかりますよね。あら、マリアさん、あなたが酔っ払ってライブに出た後でもみんなはあなたをリーダーとして尊敬しています。
ああ。
そしてナッタンが東京に来たばかりの頃、誰がナッタンに歌とダンスを教えてたか覚えてますか？せやな。私たちはライバルである前に仲間です。わかります。私だってセンターになりたいです。でもそれが敵対し合う理由にはなりません。私たちはみんなアイドルです。私思ってました。いえ、分かってたんです。アイドルは普通の人とは違うって。アイドルはいつでも優しくて、自分よりも他の人を優先しないといけないのです。いつでも一生懸命で、どんな状況でも微笑んで。だってアイドルはみんなの悩み、悲しみを背負うものだから。寂しい時も嫌なことがあった後でも、将来の不安を感じる時だって、テレビをつければ大好きなアイドルが励ましてくれるのです。全てを分かってくれているかのように。だからアイドルと自負した以上、こんなことをしてはいけません。誰が勝っても負けても、誰がセンターになっても関係ありません。何があっても私はみんなが好きです。みんなは私の大好きな仲間。こんな風に喧嘩してほしくありません。
Oh my. Suddenly, the 6 girls approached Asami with evil intent glowing in their eyes. They snatched her up by the arms and legs and swung her back and forth in preparation to launch her across the pool.
どうして？なんでこんなことを？そりゃ当然でしょ。さっきの話でよくわかったわ。あんたはここで一番の敵なんだって。
Nah, Sasami's not really to my taste.
悪いな。私にとっちゃこれはもう最後のチャンスなんで。
She's a little too goody-goody for me, personally.
ネムネムもセンターで輝きたい。ここで負けるわけにはいかないのです。イエス。残念やけどこの世界は弱肉強食。あなたみたいな子羊はどうせアイドルの世界で一日も生き残れないわよ。そんな。
They heaved her back and forth.
よいしょよいしょ。なんでこんなことに。
I was walking through the hallway dressed in a yukata when I suddenly heard a scream.
プロデューサーさん、助けて。
Eh? What was that just now? It sounded like it came from the Olsen. Oh no, could someone have gotten hurt? Oh boy. I turned around and ran towards the hot spring.
お兄ちゃんは助けに来ないよ、ササちゃん。よいしょよいしょ。行くわよ。いってらっしゃい、ササちゃん。
Just as the girls were about to launch Sasami, I burst into the hot spring. I couldn't see a thing in the mist. Where was she? It sounded like it came from the pool. Sasami! Without a second thought, I dived into the pool. The mist cleared for the moment, and I saw a holy sight. Yeah. What? The girls lost their grip on Sasami at that moment, sending her flying towards me. Oh my. The last thing I felt was the sensation of something warm and squishy impacting my face, and my head sank to the bottom of the pool, pinned between Sasami's thighs. An explosive burst of bubbles came out from my mouth, as something round and heavy crushed my chest and expelled all the air out of my lungs. Blah, 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 blah. Eternal shame also gained. The girls finished fishing my unconscious body out of the pool.
ピーくん案外重たいんやな。
きんも、こいつの浴衣がはだけてる。
They laid me out on the rocky floor beside the pool. Nimu put her ear next to my nose.
大丈夫みたい。ちゃんと息してるし、ショックで意識を失ってるだけね。
そうか。まあ、なんだ。
The 6 girls stood awkwardly over Sasami, who was hunched in a corner, sniffling to herself.
みんな、ひどいよ。もう、私、お嫁さんに行けない。ごめん。
The girls awkwardly murmured amongst each other.
まあ、ちょっとやりすぎたかな。
そうだな。すまん。ちょっとした悪ふざけがこんなことになるなんて、本当に。
笹ちゃん、うちもごめん。
They exchanged worried looks. Mariah took the initiative to kneel down beside Sasami and put a towel over her.
ささみ、こういうことは誰にでも起きるから、泣くほどのことじゃないよ。
I don't know if things like that are bound to happen in life. That's a little out there.
少女とかの話は大丈夫だって。今時高校生だってそういうのを信じてないから。もう泣くな。アイドルは鋼のメンタル持たないとダメだろ。
それはアイドルとはちょっとちゃうと思うよ、マリア。
田舎アイドルとは違うからな。こっちはささみを慰めてるっつーの。あなたたちは
最低よ。このままじゃ私たち永遠にアイドルになれないよ。純粋なアイドルになりたかっただけなのに。でもなんでそんなに喧嘩が好きなんですか？仲間なのに。なんでそんなに意地悪なの？
いや、それは別にそういう意味で言ったわけじゃ。ちょっとふざけ合っただけで。
マリアの言う通りよ。いいか、スターノバはそんなことで潰れるようなやわなもんじゃないよ。この先もっと厳しい試練が待っているの。同じグループに入っているとはいえ、私たちはみんなライバルでもあるんだから。だからそれに向き合ってそれを認めるか、本当の気持ちを愛想笑いで隠すかしか方法がないよ。あんたたちはどう思うかわからないけど、私は前者で行くよ。世間を気にして仲良しのふりするのは大嫌いなの。
アキが言いたいのは、私たちは喧嘩するほど仲がいいってこと？
その通
り。でもね、私はビッチと呼ばれたくらいで泣いたりやめたりすると思う？そんなのへっちゃらだよ。
ササちゃん、私たちはスターノバよ。喧嘩したってみんなは仲間という事実は変わらないもの。よっしゃー、毎日喧嘩して強くなろうや。闇の軍団は己とこそ戦うべし。経験値稼ぎ放題よ。みんな
ささみ。
Sasami buried her face in Mariah's bosom as the rest of the girls came in and shared a group hug.
あらあら。
ささみ。
マリア、みんな私たち友達だよね。
The girls laughed amongst each other, their previous feud long forgotten. Their laughter echoed through the pool as they all separated and walked away together as comrades.
でもたまには喧嘩でもせんと、もっともっと仲良しにはなれへんよ。
同感です。
とにかくお腹すいたわ。晩ご飯なんやろ。そうですね、行きましょう。
ああ、風呂の後はやっぱ酒だよな。
And we're just gonna be left behind in the bath, unconscious.
マリアはいつも飲みすぎ。
そうか？
Unfortunately, in their newfound friendship, they had already long forgotten me, still sprawled out unconscious on the rocky ground. Everyone, how could you forget your producer like this? It wasn't until everyone had left that I regained consciousness. In the end, I was left with nothing more than a few foggy memories of getting hit by a huge, round, squishy peach-like thing, and a painful bump on the back of my head. Completely at a loss as to what happened or how I'd got there, I decided the most reasonable explanation was that I'd simply taken a bath for too long, and passed out due to lightheadedness. And so the entire incident closed, the truth of what had happened known only by the girls of Starnova. Whoopsie! Oh, game. Alright, guys. And that is where we're going to call an end to today's episode. So as always, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you're still enjoying Shining Song Starnova. And until next time.